Free Wi-Fi in 2,336 technical institutes, 8,232 madrasas within 6 months, Prime Minister Tariq Rahman tells Jatiyo Shongshod. Shongshod passes Anti-Terrorism Act Amendment Bill 2026. Countrywide measles vaccination campaign begins April the 20th. Health Minister informs Shongshod. Dhaka requests India to extradite Sheikh Hasina and Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal. Visiting Foreign Minister Dr. Khalil Rahman conveyed the request to his Indian counterpart Dr. S. Jaishankar. Women's Reserve Seats election on May the 12th, all set for Bogara 6 by-polls and Sherpur 3 polls tomorrow. Information Minister urges engaging youth to combat environmental and climate crisis. First verdict in Shahid Abu Said murder case tomorrow. US-Iran announces ceasefire. Bangladesh welcomes the ceasefire. Strait of Hormuz reopens. Iranian armed force will control strait. Oil prices start falling. And Bayern Munich beats Real Madrid 2-1. Arsenal edge Sporting CP 1-0 in Champions League football quarter-final first legs. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to News at 10. I'm Mahmoud Rahman. Those were the headlines. Let's move on now to the details. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman informed the Jatiyo Shongshod that apart from making the technical and madrasa education modernized, within the next 180 days, free Wi-Fi will be launched in 2,336 technical institutions and 8,232 madrasas. The Premier said this while replying to a tabled question from Treasury bench lawmaker from Sirajganj 1 constituency in the House, with Speaker Hafizuddin Ahmed Birbikram in the chair this morning. The Prime Minister informed the Jatiyo Shongshod that the government is implementing short, medium and long-term plans by identifying 43 key areas in the education sector, aiming to increase budget allocation to 5% of GDP in the sector. Tariq Rahman said that the current democratic government considers education as the best investment for the nation and remains committed to building a quality, life-oriented and inclusive education system. He also said that the government's election manifesto outlined a plan to gradually increase allocation for education to 5% of GDP. As part of the government initiatives, free school uniforms will be distributed among 2 lakh primary school students across the country within the current fiscal, he said, adding, the government has a plan to expand this initiative in all upazilas across the country gradually. To meet the nutritional needs of primary school students, the Prime Minister said there is a plan to provide school feeding midday meals in all upazilas in phases. Highlighting the government's plan for the education sector, Tariq Rahman said that as per the election pledges, multimedia classrooms will be set up in all primary, secondary and equivalent educational institutions to prepare the new generation for global competition. Noting that the ruling party has made commitments in its election manifesto to make technical education mandatory for all alongside general education at the secondary level, the Premier said his government plans to gradually establish technical schools and colleges in every upazila and polytechnic institutes in every district. The Anti-Terrorism Amendment Bill 2026, Mass Uprising Protection and Liability Determination Bill 2026 and Repeal of Security for Family Members of the Father of the Nation Bill 2026 have been passed in the National Parliament today. Some of the other bills are the Public Accounts Audit Bill 2026, the Protection and Conservation of Fish Amendment Bill 2026, the Sheikh Hasina Rural Development Academy Jamalpur Amendment Bill 2026, and the Water Supply and Sewerage Authority Amendment Bill 2026. Regarding the bill, Home Minister Salahuddin Ahmed said that the passage of the Anti-Terrorism Amendment Bill 2026 will enable further amendments to the Anti-Terrorism Act 2009. The Public Accounts Audit Bill 2026 was passed unanimously after Finance Minister Amir Khosrow Mahmood Chaudhry introduced it and proposed its passage to ensure greater transparency and accountability in the receipt and expenditure of public funds. The Protection and Conservation of Fish Amendment Bill 2026 was passed unanimously after Fisheries and Livestock Minister Mohammed Aminur Rashid introduced it and proposed for its passage to amend the Protection and Conservation Act enacted in 1950. State Minister Mir Shah Alam introduced and proposed the passage of the Sheikh Hasina Rural Development Academy Jamalpur Amendment Bill 2026 and the Water Supply and Sewerage Authority Amendment Bill 2026 in Parliament. The State Minister introduced and proposed the passage of these two bills on behalf of the Minister for Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives. Earlier, the Health Minister told the National Parliament that the nationwide measles vaccination programme is starting on April the 20th, moved up from May the 3rd, due to the ability to quickly collect measles vaccines from UNICEF. The Health Minister made these remarks during a discussion on a notice accepted under the rule for calling attention to matters of urgent public importance in the National Parliament. On behalf of the LGRD Minister, State Minister Mir Shah Alam said that various projects, including rainwater harvesting, have been undertaken to ensure pure drinking water and sanitation systems across the country, including the coastal districts. The Election Commission, EC, has announced the schedule for the reserved women's seat elections to be held on May the 12th. Senior Secretary of the EC Secretariat, Akhtar Ahmed, announced the schedule at Nirbachan Bhavan in city's Agargaon area today. He said the last date for filing nomination papers for the reserved women's seat election of the 13th Jatiyo সংসদ is April the 21st. And the nomination papers must be submitted to the EC at its Secretariat building. The nomination papers will be selected by the returning officer on April the 22nd and 23rd next, he said. The EC Secretary said April the 26th has been fixed for filing appeals against the nomination papers. If anyone files an appeal against someone, it will be disposed of on April the 27th and 28th, he added. Akhtar Ahmed said the last date for withdrawal of candidature is April the 29th, while the symbols will be allotted to the candidates on April the 30th. He said the ruling BNP-led alliance will get 36 seats, while the Jamaat-e-Islami-led alliance 13 seats and independent 1 seat. The EC Secretary said all-out preparations have been taken to complete the elections in a fair and peaceful manner as per the schedule. At the press conference, the Secretary of the Election Commission also spoke about the by-election in Bogra 6 constituency and the general election in Sherpur 3 constituency scheduled for tomorrow. He said that the Election Commission has completed all preparations for tomorrow's elections. Chief of Air Staff, Air Chief Marshal Hassan Mahmud Khan paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Tariq Rahman. The Air Chief met the Premier at the Prime Minister's office in the Parliament Secretariat this morning. Foreign Minister Dr. Khalilur Rahman met Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Oil and Natural Gas Minister Hardeep Puri in New Delhi today. Prime Minister's Advisor for Foreign Affairs Humayun Kabir and Bangladesh High Commissioner to India Riaz Hamidullah were present at these meetings. They also held a meeting with India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval last evening, following arrival at India's capital city. In the discussions, both sides emphasized the importance of advancing bilateral relations between the two countries in various dimensions. They also discussed key regional and international issues. Dr. Khalilur Rahman stated that the recently elected BNP government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Tariq Rahman, would pursue its foreign policy in accordance with the principle of Bangladesh first and on the basis of mutual trust and respect and reciprocal benefit. He thanked Indian government for apprehending the suspected killers of Shahid Osman Hadi. Both sides agreed that the arrested individuals will be returned to Bangladesh in accordance with the procedures laid out in the extradition treaty between the two countries. The Bangladesh side reiterated its request to extradite Sheikh Hasina and her Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal to Bangladesh, who have been awarded the death penalty by the International Crimes Tribunal. During the discussions, Indian External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar said Indian visas to Bangladeshis, particularly medical and business visas, would be eased in the coming weeks. Dr. Khalil Rahman expressed thanks to Oil and Natural Gas Minister Hardeep Puri for the recent supply of diesel to Bangladesh by India and requested to increase the volume of supply of diesel and fertilizer. Minister Puri indicated that the government of India will consider the request readily and favourably. The two sides also agreed to undertake consultations on key bilateral issues. Information and Broadcasting Minister Zahiruddin Shopon urged the younger generation to actively engage in addressing the world's growing environmental and climate challenges. He made the call this morning while inaugurating the two-day Green Energy Olympiad at the Sirdap Auditorium in the capital. The Information Minister said environmental crises are not like short-term development challenges. Their impacts are long-lasting and far-reaching. In this regard, raising public awareness and bringing behavioral change are important. He emphasized the need to build practical knowledge among young people to promote sustainable lifestyles, responsible urbanization, and development that is in harmony with nature. Highlighting the impact of the global energy crisis and international political dynamics on both the environment and the economy, Zahiruddin Shopon urged integrating education and research with environmental, political and economic considerations to ensure real-world applicability. He described such initiatives as a strategic investment for future generations. Ambassador of Italy to Bangladesh, Antonio Alessandro, paid a courtesy call on Shama Obaid Islam, State Minister for Foreign Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs today. He congratulated the State Minister on her recent assumption of office and conveyed Italy's confidence in further advancing the long-standing and amicable bilateral relations. Both sides noted with satisfaction the continued growth of Bangladesh-Italy relations anchored in strong people-to-people ties. They reaffirmed their shared commitment to broadening engagement across priority sectors, including trade and investment, leather and ceramic industries, manufacturing, skills development, women's empowerment, education, sports and cultural exchanges, private sector engagements, and defense cooperation. She underscored the importance of expanding opportunities for regular migration channels to ensure mutual benefit. The ambassador commended Bangladesh's measures to curb irregular migration and acknowledged the positive contributions of the Bangladeshi community to Italian society. Both sides emphasized the importance of promoting safe, orderly and regular migration, including through enhanced cooperation on legal pathways, skills partnerships and labor mobility aligned with market needs. The International Crimes Tribunal, ICT2, is scheduled to pronounce judgment tomorrow in a crime against humanity case filed over the killing of Begum Rokeya University student Abu Said during the 2024 July mass uprising. The three-member tribunal, headed by Justice Nazrul Islam Mojumdar on March the 5th, fixed April the 9th for delivering the verdict in the case. Earlier, on January the 25th, the prosecution sought the maximum punishment for the accused, while the defense pleaded for their acquittal. 6 of the 30 accused were produced before the tribunal at the last hearing. The tribunal framed charges against all 30 accused on August the 6th, 2025. Earlier, on June the 30th, 2025, the ICT2 issued arrest warrants against 26 fugitives, including former BRUR Vice-Chancellor Professor Dr. Mohammad Hasibur Rashid. The investigation agency submitted its report on June the 24th, 2025, accusing 30 individuals, including the former Commissioner of Rangpur Metropolitan Police. According to the prosecution, on July the 16th, 2024, shortly before Abu Said's death, The then proctor allegedly forced students off the campus with the help of Chhatra League activists, after which 2 policemen reportedly fired at Abu Said at close range. Abu Said's family filed a complaint on January the 13th, 2025, naming 25 individuals. The next hearing in the case over enforced disappearances and torture at the Joint Interrogation Cell during the rule of the ousted Awami League government has been scheduled for April the 13th, with former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and 13 others, including military officers, as accused. The order was issued today by International Crimes Tribunal 1, led by Justice Ghulam Murtaza Majumdar, after the cross-examination of witness Iqbal Chaudhry in the case. Later, in the same tribunal, the recording of testimony began against former military officer Ziaul Ahsan in a separate case involving allegations of enforced disappearance and killing of more than 100 people. Earlier, the tribunal set April the 15th as the next hearing date in another case filed against 28 individuals, including former Mayor Sheikh Fazlenur Tabosh, over 3 charges, including the killing of 9 people in the Mohammadpur area during the July movement. Meanwhile, Tribunal 2 has rescheduled April the 13th as the next date for the appearance of former DGFI Director General Sheikh Mamun Khalid and former military officer Masududdin Chaudhry in separate cases of crimes against humanity. Attorney General Barrister Rahul Quddus Kajol said that within 3 months the state will appeal the High Court's verdict through the Appellate Division with the aim of final disposal, which directed the establishment of a separate secretariat for the Supreme Court. He said this while briefing newsmen today over the verdict regarding an independent secretariat for the Supreme Court. The Attorney General further said that as serious legal and constitutional questions are involved, a certificate has been issued for appeal under Article 103 of the Constitution. As a result, a direct appeal can be made. The matter will be finalized through the disposal of the appeal, he added. Agriculture, Fisheries and Livestock Minister Mohammad Aminur Rashid today called upon the authority concerned and fisheries scientists to identify the impediments existing in production of hilsa and fish resources. The minister also laid emphasis to become more actively involved in research to conserve jatka and increase its production. He made the remarks while speaking as chief guest at a workshop titled Hilsa Research Achievements, Jatka Conservation and Future Actions at the Bangladesh Agricultural Research Council Auditorium in the capital today, marking the Jatka Conservation Week 2026. It is important to work in a planned manner on issues such as how to maximize jatka production and how to increase their numbers by ensuring proper hatching of hilsa eggs, the minister added. The event was organized with the theme, If Jatka Fishing Stops, Seas and Rivers Will Be Filled with Hilsa. The minister emphasized the need to develop methods that do not compromise the natural flavor and characteristics of hilsa, yet boost production to meet national demand. Addressing fishermen, he said that the nets and rivers belong to them and therefore they are in the best position to suggest effective measures to stop jatka fishing. Speaking as special guest, State Minister for Fisheries and Livestock Sultan Salahuddin Tuku said completely stopping jatka fishing would significantly increase hilsa production. Fisheries and Livestock Secretary Mohammad Delwar Hussain and Director General of Fisheries Directorate Mohammad Zia Haidar Chaudhry spoke at the workshop, presided over by Director General of Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute Dr. Anuradha Bhadro. On now to international